Hey Deadheads, how's it going? Welcome back to our channel. Or welcome for the first time, new Deadheads. So today we're going to do our review of this, the butt hump, the RK, is it RK? RG 45, 43 HD? No wait, the M18. No wait, it's the Q7. Oh my god, this thing has so many different names. We're just going to call it whatever. The box itself doesn't even have the name on it, but the version we got when we purchased it was the 43 HD. So, 4.3 inch screen. Anyways, guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, help us continue to grow the channel so we can continue to bring us new content. And you saw the unboxing and impression of this. We've had this now for about a month. We've been playing it quite often, and we're going to go over the good, the bad, the ugly of this big old butt humps. So we'll be right back and we'll start the review off, and we'll be right back, Deadheads. And we're back. Okay, so first of all, our product, the R43 Pro HD, comes with the branding of SJGAM. So I have seen other versions of this that have the sub HOR, I'm going to say how that says it, sub-HOR branding, and then there's the M18 branding as well. So I think that maybe this is being used in the 3DO model. For those of you old enough to remember, 3DO had plenty of different brands. You could get the Panasonic 3DO, you could get the Gold Star 3DO. So I think maybe that's the kind of model they're going for here. But this was the first one out of the gate, and there are a couple things about this that, you know, I kind of like. And so we're going to start there and talk about the things that are favorable, or the things that are, you know, that I really kind of like about this. So first, let's start with the specs. So I'm going to throw the specs up on the screen there. And this does have that 4.3 inch screen that's running at 480 by 242, giving us that unique 5:3 resolution, which is, 5:3 ratio, which it presents for some almost perfect PSP, you know, scaling. But it's weird on some of the other games. It just depends on the emulator and the system. And of course, you can manipulate the settings for it. It has little skittle buttons. These buttons are not too bad. They're pretty responsive. The travel distance and the length of them, you know, are not bad at all. It has sticks that I like are in a position when you combine it with the way that these butt humps hold your hand. It's very comfortable, at least for my size hands, to put my thumbs there and hold it like that. These sticks are very responsive, they're very clicky, and I would say that it's a really good advantage of this. Our D-pad is not great. It's not awful, it's not great. I'd say it's just about average. It does have that little center indentation, and it has a little bit of false negatives on the contra test, but you know, it's usable, but I wish we could have seen maybe a little better D-pad on this thing. The screen is the star of this. If you want to have a vertical upright handheld with a bigger screen, that is what this is going for. Yes, Anbernic has the RG405V, which in a lot of ways is better than this, but also twice the price. But if you want just a big, clear screen, this is doing pretty good for that. The triggers are surprisingly good. These are a lot better. As I use them even more and more, I like these triggers quite a bit. And you can hear from the sound there that they just are real nice, and they're not overly clicky, but they're also springy. So I really like that. The other thing, I don't know why more manufacturers don't do this. Maybe there's a reason. And yeah, usually you only see this on really stuff you don't want to play with, but this on-off button, I don't know, I just find it refreshing to do the on-off button. It does have your USB-C port here for charging, your headphone jack, and then your SD card here. Now, if you recall, the thing that was really surprising about this was that it has a Rockchip 3566. Didn't believe it until I opened it up and we verified it, and you can go check out the video verifying the chip that's in here. Now, whether that chip is authentic or not is questionable because this thing does not run like other 3566. I think that this software environment has locked it down, and probably we're not getting the performance out of the CPU that we could because of this terrible implementation of emulate. So overall aspect ratio, and I misspoke earlier, it's a 30:17 aspect ratio, is really good. It matches the original PSP, giving it a nice appearance. Though calling this HD is a big stretch, so I don't know why the R43 Pro HD comes in there, because it's at a 480p top spec, so not really that. It's very comfortable. You do trade pocketability for a bigger screen, but it's just really nice to hold. It's not overly heavy, and it seems to be pretty well made. The switch style analog sticks are good and feel great and clicky, and the shoulder buttons just again are in a nice place. I also got pretty good battery life with this thing. Now, it could be argued that the reason I did is because this chip, the CPU, is not performing at the level that it should be. So I mean, maybe that's why I got good battery life, but surprisingly good, better than average battery life. That's probably due to that lockdown CPU and software. Now let's talk about what I don't like about it. So number one, Deadheads, the software sucks. Now Emulate and emulationstation is a software that I love, but this implementation of it is terrible. It's annoying. It lacks ability for basic things such as turning on the FPS counter. It's an RK3566 that is not being fully utilized, causing some systems to underperform. The 4.3-inch screen here, again, I like the aspect ratio, but it's lacking in bright light with a likely low nits. So out in the sun, it's hard to see. This is IPS, so that's not bad. And I didn't have much light bleed here, so not really going to complain about that. I also don't really like the current pricing scheme here. Yes, 3DO came under different brands and had different prices, and they're kind of bringing the 90s back with that. But the M18 is being asked for at a premium, and I have not yet seen the M18 to see if there's any software difference. But the R43 Pro HD has now dropped in price from when I purchased this about a month ago. And adding your own ROMs is not as simple, and there's no current alternative custom firmware such as Jealous or ArcOS. That is the big thing. Custom firmware here is something there are several people trying to work on, but it's just not there yet. So overall, if you can get this thing at a price under $60, I think it's a good buy. Anything over $60, I'm going to say, hold off. It's not that great yet. Now, I am working on the Discord with several people who are trying to implement ArcOS or Jealous, or trying to get some more development on this unit, because if we can get it going, I think it's going to be a really good alternative for the Ambernix 405V, which is still running at $120, $130. So that being said, let's take a look at some more gameplay here, and we'll be right back, Deadheads. We're back, so let's start with some N64. And let's just do some racing here. And already you can tell, listen, it's struggling. There is absolutely no reason that N64 should run this way. Now, somebody in the Discord has figured out if you go in and you change some of the settings on this, you can actually get the N64 to work better. But you shouldn't have to do that with a product that you're purchasing, especially if they're going to lock down the software. Don't lock down software that's not working right. So again, N64 in its current form, as it ships, at least on the 43 Pro, is not really playable. Now, I'll leave a link to the Discord, to the tips on what you can do if you want to go in and edit this file. But again, this just isn't playing right. And this experience I had with pretty much any N64 game, except little less demanding games, just isn't. It's not enjoyable, which is a shame on this screen, because again, the screen is a nice big screen, and it's very comfortable to hold. All right, well, let's try something else. Let's see how this thing does, and let's step up to Dreamcast, and we'll be right back. And we're back. And again, it doesn't look like any of the widescreen patches have been here. The aspect ratio. Here we go. Oh, it's dragging on this too. So again, this is a Rockchip 3566. There's no reason why this should not play very well, other than the fact that this software is just completely locked down. But let's get into some gameplay here, and let's just show what Dead or Alive 2. Now remember, these are ROMs that it comes with. This is the software that they put in there. You can hear it's just choppy. So pretty much unplayable. I don't know if there's a setting to change to make this more playable like we did with N64, but it's just not playable. In fact, I still can't believe this is a Rockchip 3566 based on this performance. And the only thing you can do is this. That is it. You can go in, you can rename, save state, you can do disk control, which is not really going to do anything. Let's see here. Not going to do anything. Disk index, cycle tray status, image append. Don't really know what, I'm not sure what that's about. And this whole time I've been playing this, I've never tried that. So again, N64 and Dreamcast are underperforming way bad. And, you know, again, if this is under $60, let's go over to PSP. How's PSP doing? Because this has a native resolution that matches the PSP on this 4.3-inch screen. And so let's see how it does with that. And we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, so let's try a little bit of PSP here, because again, let's just see what this looks like. Now remember, there's no altering or changing any settings on this. As we play some Daxter, and you know, it's okay. It's running pretty okay. It's way better than the N64 or the Dreamcast. I'm not very good at this game. But again, no idea like how much frame rates, but I will say that, you know, it does seem to play PSP. The resolution seems to be fine on this beautiful 4.3-inch screen. So let's go talk to him. This is also a French version. I don't know why. Or maybe well, again, there's no way to change this. You hit this button, I can't change the language, so it's in French, so that's another problem with this for a game like this. But yeah, I would say that this is playable. All right, Deadheads, let's try one more PSP game. We'll be right back. And we're back. And how about some God of War? And you know, if it can play PSP, then, I mean, if it can play God of War on PSP, it's probably going to play PSP just fine. So, just wanted to show a little opening, but let's zzz. Zzz. All right. Let's kill some people. Yes, yes, I know the controls. I've played this a million times. And I would say this is playable. It's not the best implementation. Again, I believe this CPU is being severely hampered by this really terrible implementation of Emulate. We're also missing the ability to do any shaders on here. And of course, I don't think this is running PPPSP. I don't know what it's running. Could be RetroArch. I have no idea. But it's playing, and you know, again, if you can get this under $60, yeah, you're gonna have a decent time playing through a lot of this. All right, Deadheads, so let's conclude, and we'll be right back with our conclusion on the R43 Pro HD, also known as the M18, also known as the Q7, and we'll be right back. All right, Deadheads, let's wrap this up on this unit right here. So what are our thoughts? What did I like about the R43 Pro HD, also known as the M18, or the Q7 by Subor? Overall form factor and size, this is one comfortable vertical handheld. You do trade pocketability for a bigger screen, and the butt humps make for a natural feeling when holding the device. It's not a very heavy device, and I was really surprised as I used this that I didn't get hand fatigue after playing this for a while. The 30:17 aspect ratio matches the original PSP, giving that system a nice appearance, though calling this HD is not quite accurate. Not sure why they put the HD label on there. Marketing hype. Guys, this is a 480p screen, so it's not HD. The buttons are well designed. The manufacturer did great with switch style analog sticks that feel great and clicky, and shoulder buttons that are arranged in a nice place. The only criticism I had was the D-pad, which I found to be at best average. So, you know, I wish they had thrown on a little bit better of a D-pad, or at least adjusted it, and it could be my one unit. Give me some feedback if you guys are having better experience with the D-pad. And finally, the great battery life. In my testing, I got better than average battery life, but that may be due to the lockdown CPU and software that we currently have. Okay, so what did I not like? Let's talk about that. What I don't like about the R43 Pro HD, the technical issues. So, the software. Lockdown Emulec is annoying. It lacks ability for basic things such as turning on FPS counter. It's an RK3566 CPU that we verified here on this channel by opening our unit up that is not being fully utilized, causing some systems to way underperform. N64 and Dreamcast, forget about it. They're not going to play very well under this current condition. The screen issues. The 4.3-inch screen is lacking in bright light with a likely low nits. Now, again, it is got that same ratio and resolution that the original PSP had, but it's just not, you don't want to take this thing outdoors. The current pricing, all over the place. We've got the 3DO model here. So the M18 is being asked for at a premium, while the R43 Pro HD is finally at a reasonable price. And the Q7, it's coming at that higher price point as well. It just doesn't make sense unless you can find this under $60. Anything above $60 at this price point is too many compromises. And the software selection. Adding your own ROMs is not as simple, and no current alternative custom firmware such as Jealous or ArcOS will suffice. I hope that we get some future development on this to give us some better options, but right now you're in this really locked down, annoying, not very good software environment, which has emulationstation, which is a software that we really like. So again, my recommendation now is if you are used to playing something like Onion OS or, you know, Min OS, this is going to be terrible. This software is not true emulec. It's not giving you the options we're used to. If you're a newcomer and you are just now joining this channel and you're trying out emulation for the first time, then yeah, this is going to be not a bad start because it's not going to give you too many options to change and mess things up. You know, part of the fun of emulation is the experience of changing settings, trying things, throwing shaders, trying to get different things to look in different ways. So, with that being said, guys, I hope that this review has been beneficial. I hope it's been helpful. I look forward to any commentary. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this review, what you think about this unit, and if you're going to pick one up or not. Again, we've got this coming out under a bunch of different brands, and it looks like, you know, there's going to be just more choices as we go. Anyways, I hope you guys have the great rest of your week, and Dead Fred out!